Hi, and welcome to Positive Parenting. My name is Irene Atia, and I'm a Christian counsellor. Today in Positive Parenting, I've got a bit of a challenge for you. We're going to talk about the power of yes, and how as parents we can say yes to our children more often, and the impact of that on our relationship with our kids. The more I say no to my kids, the less they hear it. If my day is constantly filled denying their requests, eventually they're going to tire of it, and they're going to want to do their own thing anyway. The more I say no, the less they hear no. So today I want to challenge you to actually try this for a day and see what happens. I want you to try to say yes in one way or another to every request your child makes. Sounds crazy? Let's look at it in a different way. If, for example, my child comes and says, I want to go to the park, and it's 6 o'clock at night. It's time for dinner, it's time for us to get ready for bed. Clearly it's an inappropriate time for us to go to a park. Rather than saying no, how about if I said to my child, I'd love to go to the park. Right now, it's time for dinner. What about if we make a plan to go to the park tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon or whatever time is suitable for me? What about if every time my child came to me with a request, I gave him an alternative. I gave her another option. I gave a choice rather than shutting down all her requests or simply saying no to him every time he asks for something. To do that, there needs to be some fundamentals in my relationship with my child. I need to have time with them. I need to get to know them. I need to get to know what they like and what they're interested in. Children are unique individuals. They have their own sets of ideas and thoughts, and they usually think outside the box and have amazing plans and hopes and dreams. If I get to know my child, then I'm much more likely to be understanding of their requests and their ideas and their wild imaginations. So when my child comes and says, I want to dress up like Superman and jump from the top of the stairs, I understand where that comes from. I can sit down with him and I can say, you know what? I think it's great that you want to dress up like Superman. Now let's think about jumping down the stairs. What about if we did it a bit differently? What about you jump down one step? I don't have to say no every time. I don't have to deny him his sense of imagination or curiosity or reason every time he comes to ask me for something that's not necessarily appropriate. So the challenge is to just give it a try. Try saying yes for a day and see what happens. Talk to him. Talking to your child allows you to get to know them better and allows you to find out more about what they think and where they want to be and what they want to do. And the more you talk to them, the more you'll be able to teach them, the more you'll be able to use incidental teaching, just conversations that you have to try to implant seeds of principles and ethics and faith and belief. Having a discussion with my child rather than flat out refusing things often leads me to find out the thought process behind their request, what they really think, what they really believe. And it gives me the opportunity to start to address those beliefs and impart thoughts and beliefs that are positive and constructive to them. For example, if my child asks to buy a particular Xbox game, because that's the game that all their friends are playing, and rather than saying no, what about if I sat down and had a conversation with him and tried to work out what is the appeal of the game? And as I have a conversation, I find out that this game is inappropriate because it's violent or it has ethics and morals that are inconsistent with my family's. That is an opportunity for me to teach my child and to speak to him about what he thinks is right and wrong and where we get ideas from right and wrong from. Whereas if my initial response is a flat out no, I may never find out what his thought process are. It may just lead to a child thinking, oh well, she said no now. A couple of years from now, I'll be older and I'll be able to get it myself. A conversation and a discussion and saying yes more often takes away that sense of frustration and anger and desire to do their own thing in children. It produces children that are far more compliant and far more likely to see my thoughts and my ideas and to adopt those as their own. It's important that I show affection to my child, that I tell my child the things that I love about them and the things that I value about them. So when they come and they make requests of particular things that aren't in line with those things, I can have a discussion with them about it. I can sit down and talk to them and say, you know what, I love the fact that you are so kind to others. And this game just doesn't seem like it's something that shows the kindness that you have in your heart or the gentleness that's in you. Or this particular activity doesn't sound like it really matches everything I love and know about you. Being positive with my kids allows them to see the positive in themselves, allows them to see that they can do better and they can be better. I also need to encourage the good behavior. Saying yes allows me to see the good things that they do and to be able to say to them, well, you know what, let's do this together. So when my daughter comes at the end of the day and asks for a smoothie, rather than saying no because I'm tired and I'm busy, I can say, you know what, show me how good you are at collecting all the ingredients that we need, and then we can maybe make it together. Getting them involved in that process allows them to feel a sense of accomplishment and achievement. It gives them a voice, whereas saying no just shuts them down and lets them know that they're not heard. It's really important that I take the opportunity to say yes to my child every time I can. That doesn't mean to say that I'm going to comply with their every wish, but I'm going to give them options. I'm going to have discussions with them. I'm going to reach an agreement with them about what's appropriate and what's inappropriate. Whereas if every time my response is a flat out no, that doesn't give them room to think. That doesn't give them room to grow. It just makes them feel controlled by an older person. And it teaches them that when I ask them for something, they'll also say no because they're used to hearing no from me. Remember, my children learn most from what I do, not from what I say, from my behaviors and from my reactions to them. So let's exhibit positive parenting with our kids. I look forward to seeing you next time on the program.